You check into a hotel, expecting peace, quiet, maybe a comfy bed and those little shampoo bottles you know you're going to sneak into your suitcase. But in America, some guests don't just bring luggage. They bring the weirdest complaints you've ever heard, the kind that make hotel staff question humanity itself. Tonight, we're counting down 33 of the dumbest, strangest, and most unbelievable hotel complaints ever made in the United States. Number 1, a beachfront resort in Florida. Guests pay hundreds of dollars for ocean views, palm trees, the sound of the waves, paradise. Except one person decided it was more like torture. They marched down to the front desk and demanded something be done about the ocean. Why? Because it was too loud. They wanted management to turn the ocean down after 10 p.m., as if the Atlantic comes with a volume knob. Imagine being the poor clerk nodding politely while thinking, "Sure, ma'am, let me just text Poseidon and ask him to keep it down." Like what's next? Putting earplugs on dolphins? If the sound of waves bothers you, maybe a beachfront resort isn't your best vacation pick. Number 2. In New York City, a businessman checked into a luxury hotel, enjoyed the best sleep of his life, and woke up furious. Not because the sheets were dirty, not because the room was noisy, but because the bed was too comfortable. He claimed the coziness made him oversleep, miss a multi-million-dollar meeting, and now the hotel owed him damages. Imagine trying that in court. "Your Honor, my client was financially ruined by excessive fluffiness." Meanwhile, the jury's probably sitting there like, "Bro, I've been sleeping on a futon since college." Number 3, a couple in Las Vegas celebrating their anniversary sat down for dinner. But instead of toasting their love, the wife spent the night glaring at the waiter. Not because the food was bad, but because the waiter was too handsome. She said his good looks were ruining the evening and making her husband insecure. She actually asked for a less attractive server. What would that even look like on a job ad? Wanted: waiter must be polite, efficient, and below a 6 out of 10 in looks. I bet the poor guy just wanted to bring them their wine, not trigger a midlife crisis. Number 4, a pet-friendly hotel in Colorado proudly welcomed a guest with her dog, Sir Reginald, a tiny Bichon Frise with a royal name and apparently royal expectations. After the stay, she left a 1-star review. Why? Because the dog didn't like the view. She claimed he was used to seeing more squirrels and that the mountain scenery made him anxious. Imagine hotel management reading this review like, "We're sorry the Rocky Mountains didn't live up to Sir Reggie's standards. Next time, we'll install a squirrel dispenser." Only in America can a dog tank your hotel rating. Number 5, Arizona. A man orders ice cream from room service. Simple enough, right? The server brings it up. Nice, cold, perfect scoop. A few minutes later, the phone rings at the front desk. It's the man, angry. Not because it melted, not because it tasted bad. No, he was upset because the ice cream was too cold. The staff gently explained that being cold is literally the point of ice cream. But he wasn't having it. He said they should have warned him in advance. What did he expect? A label that says, "Caution, may contain cold"? Honestly, I think this guy just wanted a warm milkshake and an apology card. Number 6, California. A guest checked into a sleek minimalist hotel where everything was clean, sharp, and modern. Most people loved the aesthetic, but not this one. They called the front desk to complain that the bedsheets were too white. Not just white. Aggressively white. They claimed the brightness was hurting their eyes and demanded beige or gentle off-white. Imagine being so offended by laundry detergent that you call it an act of violence. I'm surprised they didn't ask for sunglasses with turn-down service. Number 7. In the middle of the night, a woman stormed down to the lobby demanding the staff fix a noise issue. You'd think it was rowdy guests or a broken AC. Nope. She wanted someone to go upstairs and make her husband stop snoring. She argued that since she paid for a peaceful night's sleep, the hotel was responsible for all noise pollution, including biological. Can you picture the bellhop knocking on the door like, "Sir, management kindly requests you roll over onto your side"? Honestly, divorce lawyers don't even get complaints this weird. Number 8. At a wellness retreat in California, a guest walked into the vegetarian buffet, piled a plate, then flipped out at the manager. Why? No steak. He couldn't grasp the concept that a vegetarian menu might not contain meat. He accused the hotel of false advertising. Imagine this guy on Yelp. 0 stars. The tofu tasted suspiciously like tofu. Honestly, that's like walking into a vegan cafe and demanding a double bacon cheeseburger. Wrong place, champ. Number 9. Savannah, Georgia. A guest stayed at a famous historic hotel, known for its haunted reputation. Most people come hoping to see a ghost. It's part of the charm. But this guest filed a complaint that the ghost in their room was unprofessional, too boring. They said it just floated in the corner and didn't rattle chains or moan. They even asked for a discount because their paranormal experience wasn't entertaining enough. Imagine that poor ghost filing its own complaint upstairs. Management, I'm doing my best, but I wasn't trained in theater arts. Number 10. A man booked a luxury suite with a massive, oversized bathtub. The kind you could practically swim laps in. Sounds amazing, right? Not for him. He called downstairs furious that the tub was too big. He claimed he had to risk drowning just to reach the soap that floated to the other end. His suggestion? The hotel should install ropes or maybe a tiny life raft for safety. Imagine housekeeping rolling up with inflatable arm floaties. Here you go, sir. Pool rules apply. Honestly, if your biggest problem is a bathtub that's too luxurious, you're living life on easy mode. Number 11. Aspen, Colorado. A guest in a luxury ski resort complained that their goose-down pillow was too soft. Too soft. They said it was like trying to sleep on a cloud, which for most of us sounds like heaven. But this person insisted it was useless because it offered no resistance. What did they want? A pillow that fights back? Imagine the manager suggesting, "Would you like us to bring you a brick wrapped in silk instead?" Only in Aspen do you get people furious about being too comfortable. Number 12. Miami. A 5-star beach resort had a guest demand something outrageous. He insisted the hotel drain the main swimming pool and refill it entirely with bottled Fiji water. Why? Because the chlorine was bad for his skin. Just picture staff running around, cracking open thousands of bottles of water, dumping them in one at a time. That's not luxury. That's insanity. By the gallon. Honestly, for what he was paying, he should have just bought his own private ocean. Number 13. Chicago. A hotel manager admitted he nearly laughed out loud when a guest filed a formal complaint about the artwork in the hallways. Abstract paintings. The guest claimed that the art was blocking his creative process and preventing him from coming up with new business ideas. He suggested they replace it with something more commercially inspiring. Like what? Stock photos of motivational quotes? Imagine complaining that a Picasso ruined your brainstorm session. Sir, maybe it's not the art. Maybe it's you. Number 14, New Orleans. A guest in a romantic, dimly lit suite wasn't feeling the love. He called down to complain that the single bedside lamp was casting judgmental shadows. He wanted maintenance to adjust the physics of the light so the shadows would disappear. I mean, what did he think this was, Hogwarts? Sir, this is a lamp, not a mood therapist. I bet the staff wrote that complaint down like action item. Cancel physics. Effective immediately. Number 15. San Diego. A woman checked into a pet-friendly hotel with her parrot Picasso. Yes, the bird had a name, and apparently very high standards. She called the front desk to complain that her parrot wasn't being entertained enough. She actually demanded a 24-hour cartoon channel for it, arguing that Picasso was used to intellectual stimulation. Look, if your parrot needs late-night TV, maybe it's not the hotel's problem. Honestly, somewhere in that building, housekeeping was probably folding towels while this bird was sitting there, furious. SpongeBob wasn't on. Number 16, Florida Keys. A honeymooning couple came down to the front desk fuming. You'd think maybe something went wrong with their suite. Wrong bed size, bad room service. Nope. They were upset because another couple at the pool was laughing too much and acting too in love. They claimed the public display of affection was making their own new marriage feel inadequate by comparison. Imagine telling staff, "Hi, yes, can you please file a noise complaint against romance?" What's next? Banning sunsets for being too beautiful. Number 17. Boston. A tourist from the West Coast had a serious problem with the staff at the front desk. Not their service, not their speed, their accents. He said the Boston accent was too thick and unprofessional. Sir, that's not unprofessional. That's just Boston. That's like flying to Texas and complaining about cowboy hats, or booking a trip to New Orleans and asking people to tone down the jazz. If you wanted a generic accent, maybe don't travel. Number 18. Midwest Hotel Complimentary Breakfast Buffet. A guest helped himself to the free chocolate chip cookies, then marched straight to the manager to complain. Were they stale? Nope. Too small? Nope. He said they weren't gourmet enough. He called the free cookies pedestrian and lacking a complex flavor profile. Brother, they were free. At what point does a cookie become a personal insult? That's like getting mad at a free sample at Costco because it didn't have truffle oil. Number 19. A newly renovated hotel had marble floors in the lobby, polished so clean they practically sparkled. A guest checked in, took one look, and filed a safety complaint. He said the floors were too shiny, claiming the reflection was a public hazard that could disorient people. You'd think he walked into a funhouse mirror maze, not a Marriott. Somewhere the janitor's crying tears of pride. Finally, someone noticed his masterpiece. Number 20. And here's one that sounds like satire, but it actually happened. A guest filed for a full refund because the Wi-Fi was too fast. Not too slow, too fast. He said the fiber internet allowed him to procrastinate more efficiently, wasting his entire day on YouTube instead of working. And somehow, that was the hotel's fault. Imagine walking into court with that case. Your Honor, I demand damages. The Wi-Fi enabled me to waste my life. Honestly, that's not a complaint. That's just a confession. Number 21. California, at a health and wellness resort. A guest stormed down to the front desk, furious, not because of noise, not because of service, but because the smell of bacon from the main dining hall drifted up to her second-floor room. She said it was an assault on her vegan lifestyle, and that the aggressive meat fumes were contaminating her aura. I bet the staff were thinking, "Ma'am, that's called breakfast." Honestly, if bacon fumes can break your spiritual force field, you probably weren't ready for the real world. Number 22. Las Vegas. A guest demanded that staff clear a path for him every time he walked from his room to the casino. Not because he was famous, not because of a disability, simply because he didn't want to breathe the same recycled air as common guests. Can you imagine hotel security playing escort like he's royalty, while everyone else is just trying to get to the slot machines? Honestly, the sheer nerve is almost impressive. He wanted the red carpet treatment for a weekend in Vegas. Number 23. Los Angeles International Airport area. A hotel built literally next door to LAX got a noise complaint. A guest was furious that airplanes were taking off and landing. "Sir, you booked a room with runway views." That's like staying at Disney World and complaining there are too many kids. What did you expect the hotel to do? Reroute Delta Airlines for your nap? I'm sure the FAA loved that suggestion. Number 24. A man checked into a hotel and was given room number 414. Harmless, right? Nope. He rushed down to the desk in a full-blown panic, demanding a room change. Why? Because 4 + 1 + 4 = 9, which in his culture was unlucky. He then tried to get the night's stay for free, claiming emotional distress. Imagine the clerk pulling out a calculator just to check his math like, "Yes, sir, that is 9. But unfortunately, math isn't refundable. Number 25. Colorado Mountain Resort. A guest with a panoramic view suite was furious at checkout. He said he only got half of what he paid for. His reasoning? The stunning mountain view completely disappeared every single night when it got dark. He basically wanted a money-back guarantee against the concept of nighttime. Imagine management explaining, "Sir, unfortunately, we don't control the sun, but we'll pass your feedback along to God." Number 26, Montana. A guest at a secluded cabin resort called the front desk to complain that the room was too quiet. That's right. Most people book these cabins to escape the noise of the city, but this guy said the silence was unnatural and suspicious, and that he couldn't fall asleep. Can you picture the clerk trying not to laugh? Sir, what would you like us to add? Traffic jams? Sirens? Honestly, if peace and quiet feels like a trap, maybe you weren't ready for nature. Number 27. A historic hotel with big, heavy oak doors got a complaint from a guest who said his door was too heavy. He claimed he was risking a hernia just trying to get into his room. He actually suggested the hotel provide assistance every time he wanted to enter or leave. I can just imagine housekeeping rolling their eyes. Sir, have you tried pulling harder? At this point, maybe hotels should install a gym waiver with every old-fashioned door. Number 28. Miami. At an international hotel, a man was furious at the breakfast buffet. Not because of the food being cold or running out. No, his complaint was that there were too many Europeans. Eating cheese and cold cuts in the morning. He said it was inappropriate. Sir, that's not a complaint. That's called cultural differences. That's like visiting Italy and being shocked people eat pasta. The nerve of people eating breakfast the way they've done for centuries. Number 29. A guest checked into a modern hotel room with a brand new smart TV. Instead of enjoying Netflix, he became convinced the television was scanning his brainwaves, not listening to his voice, no reading his thoughts, because the Netflix recommendations were too accurate. He demanded a dumber TV. Imagine staff trying to offer a solution. Sir, here's an Etch-a-Sketch. Enjoy your stay. Honestly, if your paranoia extends to the TV menu, maybe unplugging isn't the hotel's problem. Number 30. Orlando, Florida. A family stayed at a Disney-adjacent resort. Their 5-year-old daughter was devastated, sobbing at the pool. Why? Because there were no mermaids swimming in it. The parents complained to management, saying the hotel should have managed her magical expectations better. What were they supposed to do, keep a mermaid on payroll? Imagine HR interviewing for that position. Must hold breath for long periods of time. Be comfortable in a seashell bra. Honestly, if you're in Orlando and the biggest disappointment is a lack of mermaids, you're doing fine. Number 31. A guest at a luxury hotel in New York checked out and left a scathing review. Not because of noise, not because of rude staff, but because the Egyptian cotton towels were too absorbent. She claimed that the moment the towel touched her skin, she was instantly dry, and that robbed her of the satisfying post-shower toweling experience. Imagine demanding a towel that's bad at its only job. That's like ordering a milkshake and complaining it's too milkshakey. Number 32. In the Midwest, a guest filed a written complaint that the hotel staff were too friendly. He said the constant smiling and cheerful greetings felt sinister and inauthentic. Sir, this isn't a horror movie. They were just saying good morning. Imagine this guy in Disneyland. He'd probably ask Mickey Mouse to tone it down a little. Honestly, only in America can customer service be too good and still get a 1-star review. Number 33. And finally, the pettiest of them all. A man ordered room service, and when it arrived, he refused to eat. Not because the food was cold, not because it was wrong. His issue? The spoon. He claimed the spoons in this hotel were inferior to the spoons in the hotel next door. He actually demanded a refund because of substandard spoon ergonomics. Picture the manager standing there fighting the urge to hand him a plastic spork and say, "Here, sir, problem solved." And there you have it. 33 of the dumbest, strangest, and most unbelievable hotel complaints ever made right here in the United States. It's proof that no matter how perfect the room, the pool, or the view, someone will always find a reason to be unhappy. Even if that reason is a towel that works too well or a spoon that isn't ergonomic enough. But now I want to hear from you. What's the most ridiculous thing you've ever secretly wanted to complain about, but knew it was way too absurd to say out loud? Drop your story in the comments, and let's see if anyone can top this list. If you laughed, learned, or at least felt better about your own vacation problems, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next deep dive into the weirdest corners of American life. Thanks for watching. And remember, if you ever think your complaint is too weird, trust me, someone has already asked a hotel to turn the ocean down.